Hello, everyone. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, depending on when you see this video. Who really knows? You know what I mean? Um, I am. Let's just get to it. Okay. So tonight we will be talking about marijuana, marijuana, Mary Jane, booger sugar, not booger sugar. We're going to be talking about medical marijuana. Okay. Let me get this guy out of the way. Get the. Yeah, there you go. The Mary Jane adventure. Every day we use our senses: taste, touch, hearing, vision, and smell. Every so often, you can smell the air, be it fresh, delicious, and sometimes you can smell the rain. It's weird. Other times, though, when you're around your stoner friend, hypothetically speaking, for too long, you can smell marijuana. Many people use it from your family all the way to even your teacher. A great example of a person who is never not seen smoking: Snoop Dogg. Maybe that's why he's so young, or maybe not. Medical marijuana is pretty dope, no pun intended, and is more helpful than you would expect. According to Talbot Recovery, no date, on the page about marijuana statistics, 67% of doctors agreed marijuana was good for medical purpose. Not only that, it also said, thank you, you better say bless you. Not only that, it also states that it is a pretty good alternative to more addictive stuff, such as painkillers. Medical marijuana has even more healing properties, especially when it comes to PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Medical marijuana matters because it can and has proven to have relieved symptoms of all types of different diseases, either being mental or physical. Today, we are going to learn about medical marijuana. We will be discussing what medical marijuana is, the advantages, and the drawbacks. First, let's discuss what medical marijuana is. Medical marijuana is a plant, like a flower, except this flower induces a high-like state. Mayo Clinic states medical marijuana comes from the cannabis sativa plant, which affects a certain part of the brain, specifically the frontal lobe. It controls certain emotions. Not only that, but it can come in different forms other than just a joint. As a matter of fact, it can be taken in many ways, such as lotion, eaten, suppository, which is gross, a spray, and obviously inhaled. Marijuana is multiversal in the fact that it solves almost everything, except the insane heat wave we're going through, depending on this recording. Medical marijuana is needed, but how do they always manage to have a good supply for multiple patients across the states? But it all stems from a little plant called cannabis sativa, which has multiple different compounds that make your body run smooth, like butter. You may already know it because it has multiple names: Mary Jane, grass, booger sugar. Not booger sugar, that's something else. Don't do that. The official name that Mayo Clinic says or states is Delta 9, or if you want to use its long name, tetrahydrocannabinol, or its short name, THC. THC, to put in simple terms, imagine doing something you love doing, where it's so soothing and mellow, or biting into a nice, fresh oven peach cobbler. It's like you're floating on a cloud, a weed cloud. Now that we have explored what medical marijuana is, let's discuss the advantages. The advantages of medical marijuana are far and vast. For example, let's start off with the physical effects. Medical marijuana deals with multiple situations. Having tics, smoke some weed. Having irritable bowel syndrome, smoke some weed. It's actually quite odd just how much the little cannabinoid can control multiple things, such as pain, memory, movement, and of course, munchies. Or when you're really hungry. The symptoms that it controls are vomiting from chemotherapy, reduced pain, especially if it's sclerosis, sclerosis, even spasms in the muscles. It doesn't even it doesn't even stop there though. It helps sleep, reduce tics, anxiety, improve some of your symptoms of PTSD, as stated before. Medical marijuana can also reduce alcohol and drug addiction, especially a little thing called CBD oil, which was so good, in fact, it could replace regular prescriptions. The paper that talks about the reduction of alcohol with medical marijuana goes on to state that out of 2,102 people who were recommended the 970, out of the 2,102 people who were recommended, the 973 had alcohol problems. After that, they had they had them prescribed from a doctor. Whichever they started smoking the medical marijuana, 44% of the members started to decrease in drinking in a span of a month. Medical marijuana continues to be such a great drug, which is funny to say out loud, but there has to be a catch. Now that you understand the advantages, let's discuss some disadvantages to medical marijuana. Not everything can be sunshines and rainbows, especially not with medical marijuana, which is funny to say out loud because usually everything is sunshines and rainbows. Let's talk about some negative symptoms about medical marijuana. For example, imagine being high and expecting the cloudy adventure I was talking about earlier. Mellow, soothe, and almost dreamlike. Which then after that, you are met with something completely different. A loud crash or bang, which could even cause a spike in anxiety. That is how a famous rapper who you may know of, Kendrick Lamar, first adventure with marijuana was. He states in one of his lyrics from a song called Mad City, cocaine laced in marijuana, and they wonder why I really smoke. Now imagine if your first blunt has you foaming at the mouth. I was straight tweaking, which you don't want to be tweaking. All right. It also opens up another danger to medical marijuana than just symptoms. If you try to buy it from somewhere or from another source, let's say a less trusted source, it could be laced with anything they want it to be. Be careful out there. Don't do that. Another thing medical marijuana is set as a bad example for kids. Most kids always look up to someone they find inspiring, or someone they love, like a mother, father, brother, cousin, or any person that they believe that they want to aspire to be. It could lead them down a spiraling path where they either smoke so much that they become dependent to it, or try even harder drugs than marijuana, such as coke, not diet, meth, angel dust, and so on. You're gonna be looking like Scarface. You don't want that. Shotgun to the back doesn't sound too good. Now that we have discussed all of the advantages, conclusions, now that we've learned a little bit more about medical marijuana, not only that we learn about what medical marijuana is, its advantages and its disadvantages, we also know that 67% of doctors recommend medical marijuana. Of course, there are some bad stories around about marijuana. Sometimes, though, you just have to take the risk. So whenever you see someone puff puff and pass like Snoop Dogg, just remember that could be you too.